My name is Alex Honnold. I'm 38 right now, and I've been climbing since I was 10, so I've been climbing 28 years.
Yeah, so it's mid-February. We're just on a week-long trip here to Las Vegas, Nevada, where we're climbing all sorts of stuff, limestone caves and sandstone bouldering. And today we're meeting up with our good buddy, Alex Honnold, who recently had his second baby and unfortunately came down with a stomach bug that left him retching for the last couple of days. And so today's actually his first day where he feels totally good to go and ready to climb. So we're heading out to Mount Potosi, and he's got his project out there. It's this 9A that he's been kind of working on and off for I think quite a few seasons now. I'll let him tell his story, but with 2 kids now and expeditions and coming and going for work and all that kind of stuff, it's not always easy to stay in shape. So today's kind of a test run to see where he's at. He hasn't been on it in probably like a month and a half or something. He's had high points. He's gotten pretty close to it. I think he knows he can do it. It's just a matter of everything kind of coming together for him. So it'll be super fun. We're about 6 months into this sort of like gentleman's challenge of the 3 of us trying to climb a 9A again one day. I don't exactly know the backstory. All I know is we were in the Bugaboos together this past summer in August, and it came up between Alex and Tommy, and then it was like our first night camping together, and they told me about it, and they're like, dude, you should get in on this. And I gotta say, the accountability part of it has been phenomenal. Like, as a lifetime climber of 29 years, I think it's really easy to sort of just let go of I don't know the word is let go of anything, but like, it's really easy to put off training or to put off climbing for another day. Like, after 29 years of I think Alex and I did some basic math, and climbing like 3.5-4 days a week. I mean, we're in and around climbing of like 5,000 days, and Alex probably more than anybody. And so sometimes when life gets busy and the kids are sick, and it starts to get easier and easier to say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. But suddenly with this 9A challenge thing, it's definitely ignited something in me where I know that they will be working towards the goal, and I don't want to get too far behind. So, no matter how tired I am, or, no matter what's going on, in life, I find the energy to do a hangboard workout or just something, just go down into the basement and just maybe lift some weights or something, just to stay active and continuously, just activating my muscles and trying to remember what it's going to feel like to try to climb a 9A again. So just the accountability aspect alone, and I think the camaraderie too of texting each other every couple of weeks and checking in on progress, and it's been super funny and really fun. So no matter what happens today, tomorrow, a year from now, 2 years from now, I think just the enjoyment of pushing harder again is totally been worth it for me. I think that's all I got.
I now have 2 children. I have a 2-year-old and a 2-week-old, and it's a lot. What I generally like to say in interviews is that I climb outside several days a week and then train indoors a couple days a week and then, with the family all the time. The reality is that I've climbed outside one day in the last 2 weeks and I had a stomach bug and felt terrible. And so, but that's also because we just had a newborn. But realistically, over the last 2 months, I've been climbing outside 2 days a week maybe, and then training in the gym maybe 2 days a week, and just totally haggard all the time. But I don't know, my day-to-day though is basically I get up, I get our toddler out of bed, get her breakfast, get dealing, help my wife, get the house in order, and then if we have childcare that day, then maybe I go outdoors climbing for the day, depending on work stuff and other things going on. And then I basically just get ground down to dust. Because the problem is if you do go to the crag and you have a big day out, and then as soon as you get home, it's like, oh, you've been gone all day, it's time for you to help, and then you're like, oh, I'm so pooped. That's what I feel like Tommy would maybe tell a different story, but over the last couple of years climbing with Tommy, he's definitely sort of ground down into middle age a little bit, I think. And I think he's kind of accepted that a little bit, where he's just like, oh, I'm old and I have kids, and I work a lot more for his main sponsors, and he's sort of accepting his role as an ambassador rather than an athlete at this point. And yet I've sort of resisted that. I'm like, Tommy, I feel like he could have a resurgence as soon as his kids are just a little bit older and a little less hands-on, because he has such a tremendous base. He's an incredible climber, and it's all there, and he's very strong. I mean, Tommy has obviously climbed 9A in the past, but he hasn't since the Dawn Wall, I guess, which is 2014, I think. So it's been a decade since Tommy's climbed 9A. And I've climbed one supposed 9A, which is actually 8C+, so it's actually 14C as it turns out. At the time, though, I was like, I climbed a 14D, but now I'm like, oh, it turns out it wasn't, but that's fine. But that also has been several years for me, many years for me. And so both of us are a long ways away from climbing 14D again. I mean, there's the goal of climbing 14D, or the race to 9A, you want to climb hard, but really I use that as sort of a proxy for I want to feel something in climbing that I haven't felt before. Like I want to feel stronger, I want to be able to do things that I haven't done before, or I want to, I want climbing to feel different in some way, or to surprise myself doing moves that I didn't expect I'd be able to do. And so, obviously I'd like to send 9A, but if I don't send 9A, but I send a bunch of 8C second go or something, I'd be like, you know what, that's just as good. Like basically if I can exceed my own expectations and perform at a higher level than I thought I could, then that's fine.
Yeah, you can blink.
Now that's a butt shot.
What? What butt?
That is the strangest double knee bar I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I found this for myself. I think for me, the 9A challenge, the race to 9A, it's just sort of a fun. I mean, I think I'd basically be training as well as I could, no matter what. But it's always nice to have training partners, as my wife, Sonnie, would say, accountability buddies, like a buddy that holds you accountable. And so it helps to have training partners who are aspiring for the same things, but also struggling with the same challenges in a way, because you're kind of like, oh, well, if that person is managing the same challenges and still finding time to train, then I probably should be able to as well. I mean, I think that's kind of the thing. Because I think each of us has other climbing partners, but they're all 24-year-olds that don't have a job. And you're kind of like, oh yeah, well, you spent 6 hours in the gym today, and you stretched for 2 hours, and you rolled out for an hour at the end of your session, and you look like a boss the whole time you were climbing. I'm like, yeah, that's great, but I can't even imagine spending 6 hours at the gym anymore. I'm like, where do you find the time? Like, I did the laundry like twice last night, like in the middle of the night, like at 2 a.m. I'm like, that is not chill. I was so bummed.
Come on, Alex. Keep going.
Come on, Alex. Come on, dude. Muscle. Come on, Alex. Good.
Basically, I haven't climbed anything tremendously hard in the last year, but it has been, like last winter I did that expedition in Antarctica. So I mean, like 1 year ago, I climbed a new route on the highest mountain in Antarctica, and then came home and then like tried to whip myself back into shape for 5 weeks and managed to just barely eke out this really hard fingery 8C thing right before we went on this family trip to Font, which was awesome. I know, but that's the other thing is that if you look at it as like, oh, in the last year I did an expedition to Antarctica and bike to Alaska, you're kind of like, well, it's not shocking, and had 2 kids. It's not shocking that I kind of suck at the other aspects of climbing, but that's whatever. That's life.
Come on. Come on. So good. Come on. Yep, get straight shakes. Come on. Come on, Alex. Nice, dude. Come on. Stay tight.
Ah! Oh. Oh. Wow. That's like basically my high point.
High point.
Basically. Here, I'll pull up in a second.
Yeah, okay.
That's fucking crazy. I've always felt like the thing that holds me back in climbing is having stronger fingers. Like if I could just hold on tighter, if I could hold smaller holds, if I could pull harder. Like I look at people doing one arms on a small edge and I'm like, if I could do that, I could literally climb anything. Like anything in the world. You know, like if I could do a one arm on a 6 mile edge, I could literally climb anything on earth. I mean, if I had to put money on which of us climbs 9A first, I mean, I definitely have the edge right now because I have a 9A that's in perfect condition near my home that I'm one hanging right, like I'm going back on Wednesday, I could send on Wednesday, potentially. So that's obviously a big edge. On the other hand, you know, I've struggled with this route for 2 years, I've never done it, I'm kind of sucking. And so, you know, Sonnie and Tommy are both much stronger and have both climbed 9A in the past and both have other projects queued up, it's just not the right season yet. So I think that if I don't manage to do bachelor party, then either Tommy or Sonnie are very far ahead.
Is it? I think this is it. Yeah. It's not that horrible. I didn't really say. Yeah, well, like not. I think everyone does.
Nice.
Dude, hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, you can take Sonnie.
Okay, so I'm in Squamish, kind of to support my friend Sonnie on his 9A project. This whole race to 9A has been pretty incredible. It's getting me very motivated. But it's kind of this weird thing because I'm doing it with my really good friends and I don't really care if I win. I'd kind of rather they win, but I still want to do it. So I'm here supporting Sonnie, also kind of testing out my 9A because my 9A is a route that I bolted and it's been a long time since I've climbed 9A. So I kind of need to try some other ones to get an idea of whether the one that I bolted actually is 9A. The route that Sonnie's working on is really similar to the route that I'm working on in terms of angle. They're both like 10 degrees overhanging. They're like 100 feet tall, or maybe a little bit less. Mine's maybe a little bit shorter. And it's a very similar style of climbing. You know, middle-aged dads, we gotta do things that we can stand on our feet. And so yesterday, I climbed on Sonnie's route with him for like 3 burns. And it went pretty good. I feel like my route's actually probably is 9A because I'm not anywhere close to doing mine. Not anywhere close to doing this one either, but it feels like at least I could do all the moves in like a try or two. So, yeah. But the climbing here is extraordinary. Whenever I come to Squamish, I'm like, this is my style of climbing. I love the granite. There's texture. I feel like I know how to move on it. I'm like, this really makes me feel like a great climber, which I kind of need right now because I haven't been feeling like a great climber lately. Getting on routes that are 10 degrees overhanging, it feels really good. And maybe I'm getting a little fitter too. I think I've been back in the game of climbing for like almost a year now. And I feel like maybe it's starting to click. My life used to be all about rock climbing, and now I would put rock climbing as one of like 4 equal priorities. So it's like my life force is just getting split in a bunch of different ways. So for me, if I can actually get back to 9A, I feel like it will actually be a progression in my climbing, even though I climbed 9A when I was like 18 years old. And then training, like just a little bit of diversity in the style of climbing. Also climbing with people who are better than me a little bit is always great. And Sonnie is certainly better than me climbing these days, and so it really is inspiring, and I feel like it helps me level up when I'm around people that are just at that next level.
Yeah, come on, press. Yes, good, left foot up a little bit on a tiny chip, and then right foot on the edge. Yeah, tiny chip, good, right foot on the edge, good. Come into the pinch by your face.
I mean, the last 9A sport climb I climbed was when I was like 22 years old, maybe. I climbed this thing called Flex Luther, which is actually probably 9A plus. Back then we didn't rate the climbs. We would just do them, and we would hope that somebody else would rate them later. But it didn't get repeated for 20 years, but it recently started to get some repeats, and it actually, some people thought it was maybe 9B, then it went back down to 9A plus. But it was fun because I was like, man, I was really good back then. But then after that, the Donwall had some pitch, has a pitch that probably is arguably 9A on it. Even it's very different though. It's like dead vertical on insanely small holds, and it's right in the middle of El Capitan. And I spent like 100 days trying to do that pitch. So it's a lot different than coming here to Paradise and climbing this route. I'm always trying to get there and trying to figure out. I mean, I've been climbing for like 40 years now. You'd think I'd have this stuff figured out. I kind of feel like I'm still just learning and relearning. Everybody asks who's gonna win. I think Alex has put the most dedicated time into his project, surprisingly, because he's not usually like that sport climbing. So I always thought Alex was gonna win, but I think his 9A is really quite hard. I'm pretty far away still. Right now, I think if I had to bet, I think Sonnie's gonna win. Yeah, I've always thought I'm gonna lose. I mean, that's one thing that's been crazy about this whole project for me is like we're all so psyched to do it, right? But we're all at this place where like life just constantly gets in the way. Alex had a baby. I'm like, got tons of work to do. I basically am done for the season. I'm not going to be able to come back until like early fall to my 9A. And that just used to be the case when I was younger. I was able to just spend my whole life like trying to climb the things I wanted to climb. Oh, I couldn't see that phone. Cool. Yeah.
Speaking of climbing.
Should we go climbing? Yeah, speaking of climbing, let's do it.
Yeah. That's it, pull across. Yes, come on, push down on that right hand. Yeah, so good. Strong, Tommy, come on. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah, high foot. Yeah. Come on.
A take.
About 2 years ago, I saw that I saw that Tom's project, Spirit Quest, had been opened. I had I had seen him work. I belayed him on it years ago when he was still actively trying it, and I just thought it was one of the best looking faces that I had seen in a really long time. Like, I was really inspired by that, and so yeah, when it became an official route, I kind of logged it in my back of my brain as something maybe I could do.
Oh my god, I love climbing so much, dude.
And so when I first started trying Spirit Quest, my wife and I and our family, we were still living in Squamish that year. But then we made the decision to move back to Canmore in the Rockies. And so it made things a little bit harder, but in a way, I actually think it was a bit of a blessing that I wasn't able to try the route whenever I wanted, because it actually added a bit of pressure. So we came out on spring break as a family trip. Kids were out of school, and I had trained quite hard from February to April, and I made really quick progress. I think I made like a new high point really quickly, and I realized that the training was working. And so what worked for me was I would come back to Canmore, and then I would train for another like 10 days or 2 weeks, and then just juggling family life. I would literally drive out to Squamish in a straight shot. I'd sleep, I'd climb all the next day, and then I would drive back to Alberta. And it was funny because it was actually Tommy, when we were there in April together. I made together we had made really good progress, and I knew that if I could just stick to the program, stick to the plan, I knew there was a good chance it was going to come together, as long as I didn't get injured or something. And so he kind of joked. He's like, man, you could almost weekend trip Squamish. And I thought maybe I'd come out for a week and go back for 3 weeks, but then I started coming out for like a day, going back for 2 weeks, coming out for a day, going back for 2 weeks, and it was awesome. I'd listen to like a really cool podcast. I would just drive out there because I could get straight from door to crag quite efficiently. It was always 10 hours on the dot, and we have a very very small Honda fuel efficient car, so it would, I could budget for it. And I think it was my 5th trip or something in June where everything came together.
Double clip. Yeah. Come on.
Our journey of this is really just trying to figure out what's really conducive to our lifestyle and to our motivation. Like all those things have to align, you know, all at the same time. So it's a cool adventure, and I think having accountability is just like probably for me it was the biggest leap that I took, was when I knew that, you know, I knew that they weren't just gonna sit back and let it go. They're competitive in a fun way, and so when I felt tired, I went training anyway, because even if I felt like crap, I did the repetitions because I knew that there was a certain amount of time, and if I don't do the reps, it's just literally gonna plateau again. And so I think that accountability and having the challenge was just the most fun thing.
Clip.
I really feel like this was just like a boost of energy to get to where we are, but I hope we can kind of keep it going and maybe just boost a little more. I think we all kind of hope that in our climbing. I think everyone can relate to that. It's this never-ending journey.